Hello, this is Justin from the Dada project, and today we're going to talk about subscriptions. Basically, how to get people to subscribe to your mailing list. There's a few techniques. Thankfully, they're all super duper easy and something that you can implement yourself. So let's get to them. The easiest thing that you can do is just give someone a URL to your mailing list page. I'm currently just on the default page of Dada. Looks like this. And it usually has a list of all the mailing lists that Dada is currently working with. So if I go down here and click on the first mailing list I have called Justin's Test List, I'll get to the mailing list page, and this is it. What's really cool about the mailing list page is right on the top it has a subscription form. So if I'm a prospective subscriber, all I have to do is enter my email address into the form right here, click the submit button, and I'm on my way to becoming a subscriber. The list page is actually pretty nice because it'll also have the information about your list, privacy policy, and if you've sent any previous email messages, it'll have an archive available for viewing, even searching, things like that. There's also a RSS feed, if you'd like, that'll have your archived messages in it. So that's pretty cool. A would-be subscriber can check it out, see if they're into it, say, yeah, I want to subscribe to this list, and just subscribe themselves, or be like, no, I'm going to hold back for now and think about it. So that's the first way. You just copy the URL and paste it into, say, an email you're sending to someone that's really into your band that you have a website for, or you can even put in the signature footer of your all your emails, things like that. The second thing you can do is actually just take this form and place it on any of your other web pages in your website. Thankfully, Dada will actually make this form for you if you'd like. And we're right now just going to go through the steps on how to do that. The first thing you want to do is let's go back to the default page of Dada. And if we close all the way down, there's an administration link right here. Let's click on it. Great. And let's just log into our website, or I'm sorry, our mailing list control panel. It looks like I've already done that, and Dada just gives me a link right here for it. So let's just click that. Great. Here's my list control panel. And on the left-hand side, you'll see all the different screens that we can go to. The one we want to go to today is way down here, and it's called, under Appearance and Templates, it's called Subscription Form HTML. So just click on that. Great. And this page is, there's nothing really to do with this page except copy and paste HTML. So the first thing it gives me is the option to do the straight up HTML. So this is the HTML that makes up the subscription form for this specific mailing list. So all I have to do is copy the HTML, and I'm going to go back now into Dreamweaver, make a new document. Fantastic. And I don't want to actually paste this HTML into my design part, which is kind of the WYSIWYG part, because it'll actually just be the HTML. What I want to do is go to that code part, and here's actually the HTML that makes up my document. There's nothing in my document right now because I just opened it. But anywhere in between the body tags, I just want to plunk that HTML that Dada created for me. There it is. So if I go back to the design, like the WYSIWYG part of it, boom, there's my subscription form. There's a lot to the subscription form, but what's required really isn't that much. So say, I don't want this, so we'll just get rid of that. And, I want a subscription form, but I don't want the unsubscribe option. Like, that'll be available on every single mailing list message that I send. So just to save space, because this, let's say I'm designing this for a very small navigation bar or something, let's just get rid of that to your heart's delight, whatever. Let's, instead of submit, let's do something silly. Let's just say zoom. Whatever you like. Let's get rid of that link back to the support site. That's just silly. If you're curious on what exactly is required for this subscription form, I'll go over that in maybe a board posting or some sort of documentation. If I forget and I don't put the link right here for that, just register a new user on the message boards on the Dada support site, and we'll get that going. So that's one way of doing it. And if I just preview this in my browser, yes I would, thank you. There it is. There's the subscription form all ready to be filled out with whatever. Great. So the next thing I'm going to show you is instead of just all the HTML that I can just edit to my heart's delight, maybe I don't want to deal with that. There's a one line of JavaScript I can actually just copy and paste. So it'll give me the same form, but let's just go through it anyway. So here's just the one thing of JavaScript that I can copy. So let's do that, and I'll go back to Dreamweaver and I'll plunk that down. Well, let's get rid of that. And then I'll go back to that code area, and between the body tags I'm just going to pop that one line of JavaScript. And let's go to the design. See, there's nothing in it because I have Dreamweaver set up to not actually show me the rendered JavaScript. So we actually have to preview in the browser. And like magic, yes I would, there's your subscription form already. So that's another thing that you can just drop in place into your website and be good to go. The last thing I'm going to show you is another way to make that. Actually, no, I'll show you one more thing. I'm sorry. But before I show that, I'll show you one other cool kind of thing, way to make a subscription form. And this is actually an extension I went over in the How to Do Extensions podcast, which I'll link to right here. And that's just the Ajax subscription form. So if I click on that, I'll get the HTML of that. And it works just like the other subscription forms, except that instead of when I hit the submit button going to another page saying that, hey, you're doing great, now you just have to confirm your subscription, it'll actually just have a little message on the bottom that says, hey, everything worked out. So I said, 1 second please, and it said, hey, your subscription request is successful. Right now this is pretty plain Jane, and what you can do is there's a lot of customization you can do to make it work with your site, seamlessly. Check out the documentation for this extension. Play around with it. I think it's pretty cool. So that's the ways that a subscriber can subscribe themselves to your mailing list. The $60,000 question is, what if I have, say, a brick and mortar store, and I have an email sign up form that says, hey, leave your email here and to sign up for my list. What do I do with that? Aha. Well, in Dada Mail, we have something called the invitation feature. So what you can do is go from, on the left-hand menu again, go under your subscriber, go to invite. And what you can do here is just plunk in those email addresses that you've collected, and Dada Mail will send an invitation to those people to let them know that you want them to be part of your mailing list, and if they want to, they can just click another confirmation link. So I'm just going to do one address, and we'll go through the entire process. So I can actually, before I do that, let me go through the various ways you can enter email addresses on the screen. The first is to just put in one address. The other thing is, if you have a bunch of addresses, you can actually just copy and paste a CSV document, or if you don't have any profile fields, and I don't, you can just, one by one put your email addresses, just skip a line. Alternatively, you can just, if you have that file, you can browse for it on your desktop computer and give it to Dada Mail that way. I'm just going to do one email address so you can understand the whole cycle. So I'm going to put my email address in and just hit verify. Now what verify will do is make sure that the email address has a valid form, that it's not already subscribed, that it's not blacklisted, which means it's not available to be subscribed, things like that. So as luck would have it, this email address is verified, so that's great. So all I have to do is then click this send invitation button. Great. Dada Mail will again show me all the emails that are getting an invitation and then show the invitation down here. So if I want to, I can then customize the invitation per batch of email addresses. You don't have to even use a batch like I'm doing. You can just send an invitation to one person. So you have like some sort of power lunch and this person's really into your business. You can then be like, hey, I have a mailing list about this kind of stuff. And the guy would be like, oh yeah, why don't you put me on it? This is how you do it. So I'm done kind of customizing this for this batch. And back down here, just hit this green button that says submit mailing list message. It'll ask if you're sure. Say okay. And boom, DynaMail is doing what DynaMail does pretty well, and that's send a whole bunch of messages to a bunch of people. As you see in this demo, see how it's sending 2 messages out? Some people get kind of confused and think that DynaMail is double sending. What it does for every mailing list message that it sends out, it'll always send 1 copy to the list owner and a copy to everyone that needs to get a message. Great, so it's sent. All I have to do now is check my email program, which I have right here. Let's see if I got an email. I do, and it's from my test list. It says, you've been invited to subscribe. All right, awesome. So DynaMail just sent me a very simple email message that says, I want you to subscribe, and right here is just an email link I can click. If I click that link, I'm subscribed. Awesome, well, let's try that out. Super fantastic. I get a message that said subscription is successful. And if I check back into my email address, I'll get a welcome message. There it is. Great. In the welcome message, it actually has another link that says, do you want to leave the list? And another link. And you say, yeah, kind of, let's do that. DynaMail will be like, okay, why don't you confirm that? So that makes sure that no one else can do that. Check my email again. Hey, an unsubscription confirmation email. And another confirmation to make sure I want to do that. Let's do that. Fantastic. That's all there is to it. Now, the individual subscription, the individual subscribe form works the same way. So you remember, this is the one we just made. And all I have to do is pop in my email address. Make sure it says subscribe. Okay, submit. Again, it'll say, hey, please confirm it. Check my email, get a new confirmation email. Oop. That one just said I unsubscribed, which is nice to know. Here's my confirmation to resubscribe. A new confirmation email. Great, let's click it. Great, I'm subscribed again. Now I'll get another welcome email. Super duper fantastic. And that's how easy it is to create a subscription form, how to subscribe using the subscription form. Actually, even how easy it is to remove yourself from a list that you have subscribed to. Now, since that's all set up and I have a subscriber, I can go back to my list control panel, which is right here. And if I go down to your subscribers and view, guess what I'll see? Boom. There's me, right, as the first and only subscriber. So even now, if I want, I can go to send a message. And if you want, just be like, hey man, nice to have you on my list. Here's what's going on, you know, etc., whatever. And all we have to do is send that out. And that's how you send a message to all your mailing list subscribers. I'll do another podcast that goes on the different ways you can send a mailing list out. There's some pretty cool things you can do. You can send HTML messages. You can send a web page from an outside source. You can send a message on a timed interval sometime in the future. You can send a message just using your mail reader. You have discussion lists, things like that. Okay, so the mailing has finished. I'll go back to my mail reader, see if I have any mail. Come on, big money. There it is. There's my message I just sent to all my subscribers. And what DynaMail does, you'll see, is here's what I wrote. And DynaMail will add a header that says, oh, look, mailing list information, including how to remove myself, is located at the bottom. And sure enough, if I zoom all the way down, it'll tell me what list I'm subscribed to, how I'm subscribed, if I want to leave, and a whole bunch of information. Help, privacy policy, physical address, things like that. So without even configuring anything else, DynaMail's got me covered. I think that's all I'm going to talk about in this screencast. I think we went over a lot of information, but hopefully you can see how easy it is to add a subscription form to a web page, invite a subscriber, and actually send a message out once we're all done. Thanks for viewing again, and check out the other screencasts I have. If you have any questions, please go to the DynaMail support site. The URL should be on the screen